Good day, gang. It is December 17th. Yeah, December 17th. I know it's been a while since I've done this. I've been preoccupied. Christmas, holidays, Thanksgiving, decorating, work, the whole nine yards. The last couple weeks have been chaotically interesting, is the way I would put it. Uh, um, let's just say between the Thanksgiving holidays with the visitation from the sister-in-laws, which was interestingly and entertaining. Granted, I had to work Thanksgiving Day, but I still enjoyed the day and a half, 2 days that I got to visit with them before having to go to work. We, well, I should say, Jan and the girls went shopping. Jan tried to show them around town. The only one who seemed to be interested in our little quaint town that has not seen it, because Janie did see it. Julie, this was Julie's first time. This was Abigail's first time. Abigail is the youngest niece out of three daughters that the only three daughters, the only three girls out of the Adams family. Um, Abigail is let's just say she's a typical teenager with teenage issues. She is like I said, she is the youngest out of the three of Julie's girls. Jul, uh, Julie's other two girls, Katie, who's in her 20s, and then Faith, who is in her late teens, early 20s. I can't remember the age gaps. Forgive me, I am not that familiar with their ages. But Julie and Abigail are from Vegas. Uh, but anyhow, they visited. They stayed for a couple days before having to return home. They came. Let's see here. The floor was done Tuesday before Thanksgiving. It was finished Tuesday. They got here Tuesday. We had maybe 2, 3, 4 hour gap to basically get the house in order, which is exactly what we did. Um, but anyhow, that was then. This is now. Within the last 2 weeks, my job has gone. I shouldn't say 2 weeks. It's been longer than that, but within the last 2 weeks, my job got really bad. My supervisor took the brunt of a really bad situation. I give her kudos for that because she could have basically, well, actually she couldn't have, because the girl who got her in trouble got fired for theft, basically. And my manager took 6 days worth of suspension. 3 days 1 week, 3 days the next week. But the problem is, during her 3 days of suspension, um, the store went to pot, basically. Only a handful of us, maybe 3 or 4 out of the 8 to 10 people who worked there, busted their butts trying to keep the store in order. Unfortunately, those of us who did try to keep it in order, except for maybe one or two, well, two of us who tried to keep the store in order, three of us who tried, I'm sorry, my brain is all over the place right now. 3 to 4 of us who tried to keep it in order, out of the 3 to 4 of us, only one or two worked during the daytime. And they didn't have that many hours. So the brunt of, or I shouldn't say the brunt, the bulk of cleaning and trying to maintain that store happened to people at nighttime, the nighttime crew members. Unfortunately, there's only two of us on shift at nighttime, while there's 3 to 4 during the daytime, if not more. And thankfully, the days that were the worst were slow days. So I was able to try my best to make it look good for the daytime crew. Um, Thankfully, the store manager was able to come in and see or tell um, how much of a situation it was. That, in fact, I gave her an earful the day she came back because she kind of looked at me like, "What happened?" And I went, "Well, your daytime crew did not do their best to try to maintain the store. Only," and I named the names of the people who were doing their. I can tell they're doing their best during the daytime. Um, Unfortunately, and this is an ongoing problem as of late, the cashier who has to take care of the bulk of the store because she is responsible for the cashiering, the customers, the gas pumps, and maintaining the rest of the store. While the crew that has the area that has the most crew, which don't need the most amount of crew, is the kitchen, and even the kitchen wasn't all that well maintained. Sorry, I almost went down the wrong pipe. We had a young fellow who did not get, even in my book, adequate enough training for his job as a cashier, and he was not doing that great as a cashier. And within, I think he was only with us for two, almost 3 weeks before he decided to up and quit. And yeah, he did something that not only surprised me, but it made my supervisor, the store boss, give him a stink face when he said that the reason why he was quitting because um, they didn't train him right in the kitchen when they threw him back there. Um, and he was right. They barely trained him to do anything back there. So on his last day, which was Saturday, he basically did what he had to do food wise. Basically, he made the pizzas and whatnot. Even though he almost threw in the towel right there and then because he was getting a little busier than he wanted to be. Which I'm sorry, I can't control that. Nobody can. But he left that kitchen a wreck for the Sunday morning people, which I'm not happy with, but I'm also kind of like it was his decision. He was quitting anyhow, but still, that's a real shitty way to go. But anyhow, we have just over a week before Christmas. It is literally a week before Christmas Eve, being as Christmas Eve is Tuesday, um, which brings me to the whole purpose. Well, not the whole purpose of the video, but part of the purpose. But before I get into that, I want to get into what I've been reading lately. Um, as some of you know, and I'm almost done. You can see where my bookmarker is compared to the end of the book. But I'm almost done with the resolution, or the resolution for men. Now, if anybody has ever seen the movie Courageous, they understand what this book is about. It's based on Christian beliefs towards men and fathers. I'm not sorry. It came in anyway. I am not a father. I do not have that blessing. Um, Granted, I have been around more than enough fathers, both in my family, bloodline, my in laws, and just in general watching the world as it is. And I will tell you right now if more men read this book and well, I shouldn't say adhered to, but took the advice that this is in this book, the world would be, well, America especially, would be a better place. It would be truly great again. Unfortunately, Donald Trump is not making America great again as quickly as the Bible would have if we never took the whole premises of the Bible out of our nation. I blame that on the 70s and a bunch of people who just did not like what the Bible had to say, I guess. But anyhow, I'm in this section of this book right now that talks about providing, men being the providers. And I am going to literally read a paragraph out of this because I think it pertains a lot to what's going on. Anyhow, it says, in cultures that offer welfare or subsidy incomes to the unemployed, a man without a job may be forced to temporarily accept this as a way to fulfill his obligations to his family. But when work becomes available to him, an honorable man will choose to earn his food and provide for his own household. This trait separates the diligent men from the lazy men. Laziness, theft, and gambling are all sinful and dishonorable ways to try to get things you want without really earning them. These are never God's plans. That pertains to a lot of not just men, but people in general. But men were put on this earth to be providers. Now, I know in the past I have not been the best provider. I have always done the best I could since I got married. I have done the best I could to provide. There have been times where I have been out of job, but I have never, ever, in 20 plus years, asked for subsidies. There was a time in my early 20s, late teens, that I did get food stamps. But I was young and dumb. I am no longer that person. What bugs me the most is the fact that I have seen people come into my store, and those who understand that what they're getting, the subsidies and whatnot, is supposed to be temporary. But then I get people in there that are just like waving that EBT card, going, "I'm paying with EBT." I hate those people. I really dislike those people. But that's what I'm focused on. I'm focused on trying to be a provider, and I wish more and more men would be that way. I've heard sad stories about men running out on their duties as fathers who couldn't handle the idea that he got somebody pregnant and just basically ran off, or those who just get tired of dealing with the headaches and whatnot of being a husband and basically ran off. Hate's a strong word, but I just like those kind of people. I really think that it's just like, that is the lowest of low. You help put this child on this planet. You need to get your lazy butt in gear and help take care of that child. I have a coworker. She has a husband and 2 kids. Husband can't stand being around them kids. Sorry. Husband can't stand being around those 2 kids. It's a sad thing. It's part of your job as a husband to help take care of the kids. His wife, my coworker, has now become an assistant manager. She has certain duties that sometimes keeps her from leaving the job on time. Now, I can understand if they've only got 1 car and she needs to get home to get the car to him so he can go to work so he doesn't get in trouble. But for crying out loud, to figure out something, get a ride Get a ride from a coworker. Get a ride from a family member. Get a ride from a neighbor. Don't call every 5 minutes pissing and moaning about need the car, I have to get to work. Unless the two of them did not sit down and go, hey, look, this is the situation. I'm now the man. I'm now an assistant manager. I have more responsibilities. I need to do this, this, and this. Figure something out before you make a decision. I did not realize it when Diane became a house manager in New York, or became a manager for her job, a site coordinator, a site manager, a house manager, whatever you want to call it. I did not realize the full spectrum of what her responsibilities were going to be until after Hurricane Sandy, when we lived in the apartment at the group home. We were like right there 24/7. We no longer had a escape place or escape plan for when she had her 2 days off. So they were able to basically knock on our door and pester us, basically, nearly 24/7. I was not happy at first. That factor, the apartment was not that soundproof, so we heard everything that was going on. So after a while, it kind of got to me. But now that I look back at it, I'm like, okay, I understand now. I really do. Anyhow, the last segment of this video is going to be Christmas. As you all know, those of us who basically celebrate Christmas or follow Christmas, I don't know what your traditions are, but, excuse me, hip. We are almost done with decorating. We have the Christmas tree to do and the dining room to do. I don't know why we're going to do the dining room. We don't use the dining room. It's just a spare room with all the dining room stuff. Unfortunately, the room is really too small for everyday eating, so we eat out in the kitchen area. But let me just show you this. As some of you may know, that this room that I'm using is my guest room / personal space, which thankfully but not thankfully, I don't get invaded as often as sometimes I would like. I would like to be able to have more guests over, but at this point in time, because of certain situations, it's not happening. But anyhow, let me just show you. This is supposed to be the guest bed. It is currently the Christmas present dumping ground. The reason why I call it the dumping ground is because literally the bed is got all the Christmas presents between me and Jerry on it. Now, Jerry does the bulk of the Christmas shopping. She gets my presents. She gets presents that I don't know if she wants or not, but she wants them, so she gets them for herself. I shouldn't say that. Not really for herself. It's basically for her via, Jim, I want this. Please buy it for me. Now, for the most part, there are, I'd say at least half a dozen or more gifts on this bed. I don't know what they are, because they're gifts from Jerry that Jerry knows that I want. Now, my family tradition from when I was growing up was we would put a piece of paper with your name, with basically a list of names, and the names are basically the different family members. And on that list would be your Christmas present wish. In other words, you'd write down what you want. And then, surprise, this is what you got. This might not have been on the list. This might have been. This wasn't. This was. That's basically how it was when I was growing up. Now, granted, as an only child, I don't have siblings like Jerry Ann does. I pretty much knew that I was going to get the lion's share of gifts between me, mom, and dad. Now, when Dad retired and we moved to Phoenix, Arizona, where I had cousins, my aunt's house would have that list. That's when that list started, back in the 83, 84 era. Now it's just me, Mom, Jerry. Now we get gifts for Mom that we think she would like. We get each other gifts that we think we would like, and then we get gifts that we talked about, said, I want this or I want that or whatever. So for the most part, I know what most of these gifts are. There's probably about, like I said, about half a dozen. I don't know. Um, Now I'm gonna go ahead and show this to you. The Instapot. Now, me and Jerry talked about this, and we said the Instapot sounds great because it's a one pot meal cooker. The other reason why we got it was factor when and if. No, it's not if, it's when. When and hopefully we get a RV, that Instapot will make for easier cooking, cleaning type situations. But I got Jerry Ann 3 particular gifts that I saw on Wish. Now, I'm not buying as much on Wish anymore because I have come across the fact that the jewelry has a lead-based element. I'm unhappy with Wish because one particular item I had looked great, fit perfectly, but the cuff, there's a part on the cuff where it's not sewn together. So I'm slowly withdrawing my Wish usage. But for the most part, I'm happy with a lot of stuff I got from Wish. So it's not like I'm not going to buy anything from Wish. I'm just going to be a little more cautious. And I'm going to shop between Wish and Amazon to see which one has. Amazon has a lot of the same stuff that Wish has, but it's a little bit more money. So it's going to be like, do I really, really want that, or do I really, really need that? But anyhow, the 3 things I got for Jerry for Christmas from Wish is, it is Harry Potter money. Now, Jerry wants a 50th on her 50th birthday, she wants a Harry Potter themed birthday. 50-year-old, and we're going to do that. It's alright. I still play video games. I can't complain. The other thing was, one of the other things is, it's a keychain. Hopefully you guys can see it because part of my camera is being blocked. But it is a keychain that says, key to the Nimbus 2000. Now anybody who's a Harry Potter fan knows exactly what I'm talking about. And the last thing from Wish, it's Hermione's Time Turner. Now those 3 things I got like months ago because I saw them, and we had been talking, or Diane had been talking about her 50th birthday, and I went, oh, look, these are nice little gifts. They're little trinkets. Granted, what are you going to do with them? Jerry, she might put them, the keychain she'll put with her keys, the coins she'll probably put in her purse, the time turner, I don't know. Now, only one of those items that Jerry knew about because of the fact that she had bought herself one, and I went, you should have talked to me first because I have got one for your Christmas. Now, this particular box I got from my local Christian bookstore, which was going out of business. They're going all internet. The business is called Lord's Library. It's basically a Christian, or a more Christian bookstore. It had a lot of other little things that were not just Christian, but like Catholic. But anyhow, I got this and I was like, ooh, I like this. I actually kind of got it for me, but then when I showed it to Jerry, she was like, is that for me? And I went, well, if you want it, I'm going to go ahead and give it to her. She doesn't wear necklaces as much as I do, so I give it to her, but knowing Jerry, she'll tell me to keep it. But it's a beautiful necklace with a cross on it. Now, some people might be going, you got a cross with black in it? Why? The color to me does not represent. To me, black does not represent darkness or anything like that. To me, black was just a color. Onyx, which was a well-known stone in the Middle Age. Well, it's well-known and it's found readily in the Mediterranean regions. But onyx can be found anywhere. But onyx was used a lot in the Mediterranean for inlay and jewelry and various types of stonework. Thing is, onyx is considered one of the many old world gemstones. It can be used for stonework. It could be used for jewelry. It could be used for. Onyx was used actually readily for making different figurines in ancient Egypt. They used onyx to carve into their different deity representations. Like onyx was used a lot for making the Anubis statues, which were all black with gold and silver inlay and various different embellishments with different other metals or materials. And because of Spectre Onyx, if you take a piece of onyx and you shape it and polish it just right, it's bright and shiny. It has a shiny hue to it. But anyhow, but Christmas presents, they are piled high on this bed. Like I said, a lot of them I don't know what they are. And if I did know what they are, I probably have forgotten by now, except for maybe one item. One item because no, three items because I really wanted them. Well, two of them are for Jerry now. Jerry wanted iPod earbuds. I got those for her. We had an agreement. I originally wanted a new iPad. I almost forgot what it was. But I had told Jared, because I originally wanted a PS4. Why would I want a PS4? Because PS4 has certain games that are not on Xbox One, and yes, I still play video games. But the game I wanted is Gods of War, the new one. The reason why is because the factor there's a lot of Viking lore or Viking characteristics in it. But see, the thing was, we couldn't find one that would be shipped to us from Walmart, or they were sold out, something like that. I can't remember what it was. And I said, well, okay, then I want the new iPad because my current Galaxy Pad is starting to not hold its charge and have other issues. But then she was like, if I find you a PS4 with Gods of War, since the iPad was already ordered, she wanted the iPad basically. And I said, well, if you can get a PS4, sure, you can have the iPad because I'm going to be spending most of my time on the PS4. So I know the PS4 and the iPad is in there. So I know those three things. But other than that, I don't know anything else. Anyhow, I'm rambling, and this is almost 30 minutes long, and I need to go start my day and all that fun stuff, because it's almost... It is after 12. Alright, I'm going to sign off. You guys have a good day, Merry Christmas if I don't get back on here before Christmas, which I may or may not. If you enjoyed this and all my ramblings, hit the bell. It'll notify you when I have more video content up. Or, yeah. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, hit the bell. I'm connecting the two and not even realizing it. So until next time, God bless. Have a good evening.